Now joined by Andrew Greif, Ducks beat writer for the Oregonian. Andrew, that was quite a civil war. You've been around here for a lot of those. You've seen a lot. You've grown up in the area. Where does that civil war rank for you of all the civil wars you've seen?
There have been ones that are more significant. The Civil War for the Roses only a few years ago, but that, just in terms of pure finish, I would have to think that one would go all the way up. Nick Aliotti, who's been around for more than, I think, almost 30, he said that one ranks all the way up there too, right behind the 1994 win that got them to the Rose Bowl. So I'll take it from his perspective that this one was tremendous.
How about Josh Huff's performance? 9 catches, 186 yards, 3 touchdowns. As an individual performance, where do you rank that individual performance in Civil War performances?
It goes up there also because, not only because of the kind of the pure numbers, but of the meaning of the last couple weeks when he's been as kind of a sounding board for people who say, how dare you diss the Rose Bowl and say that it's not worth the Ducks' time. That kind of storyline behind it added a lot to the significance. The game-winning catch, obviously with less than 30 seconds remaining. It reminded me a lot of the Washington game this year when he comes back from injury, has a huge play, huge touchdown catch, and was the emotional lift of the team. This year, same thing. You just felt that people were counting on him. He said, Ifo Ekpreolomu, told him at halftime, we need you. He came out and performed.
There's so much that can happen with still 1 week left to go, and it's kind of crazy now to think the Ducks could still be going to getting a BCS at-large berth.
Yeah, the Orange Bowl would seem to be the most likely, even though it is an unlikely scenario that they could go. Oregon, for all the balls to fall the right way, the most key games to watch would be Baylor. They only have 1 loss, a 2-loss Baylor team. Is that more enticing for a BCS Bowl than a 2-loss Oregon team? I'm not so sure. Then you have Northern Illinois. They're from outside of the Power 6 conferences. They need to keep winning with a conference championship this weekend. If they lose, it would seem to open up 2 at-large bids, and for about 3 eligible teams, Clemson possibly Baylor, Oregon. So Baylor, Northern Illinois, those are big games to watch this weekend. Of course, if Duke beats Florida State, then everything goes off the rails, and who knows where Oregon goes. I think the more likely scenario is Oregon stays in the Alamo Bowl on December 30th.
That seems like worst case scenario for the Ducks at this point is the Alamo Bowl. Another thing we'll probably be talking about over the next couple of weeks, and maybe we could even get some decisions here in the next couple of weeks, is the future of some of these Ducks. We just heard from some of the seniors who obviously played their last game at Autzen Stadium, but for a few other Ducks, it could have also been their last game at Autzen Stadium. Marcus Mariota, obviously, Ifo Ekpreolomu, DeAnthony Thomas. Both Ifo and DeAnthony said after the game that they haven't made decisions yet regarding the NFL, but could do so before the bowl game. I know you're not them, but from your vantage point, what do you think could happen over the next couple of weeks with some of those guys who are kind of the fringe guys potentially going to the NFL?
They're going to hear from their families. That's what Mark Helfrich said Sunday morning when we talked with him on a conference call. He said his philosophy is just let them go through their own kind of mental checklist. What's important to their family? What's important to them? How important is another year in school? What do they have left to achieve? For DeAnthony Thomas, he's done it all, seemingly. Obviously not the BCS title that he wants so badly, but he might be the most likely guy to flee and to forego his last season here. Ifo and Marcus, I think those guys are legitimately borderline. I'm not so sure. They have very strong connections to this program. You can tell just by talking to them that they love this program, the guys around them. But they will make it all, in the next probably 4 weeks. The deadline to declare is, I believe, the 2nd week of January.
So we'll have to wait and see on NFL decisions. We'll have to wait and see on where the Oregon Ducks will be playing their bowl game. He's Andrew Greif, the Ducks beat writer for the Oregonian.